I'm going to set aside time for me today and just be. Like, you don't have to actually manually put them, do things for them. All you got to do is focus on giving yourself what you need.
And they see it all.
And they see it all. She said, I knew if you just hit the ground, you would run, and I just had to push you out. Now, I got to go. I got to get away from this lady. I got to leave. God, she get on my nerves. She hates me, all these things. But it was her fear of not being enough. Understand that it's okay to set up boundaries with family members, but you can still love them. You can still look to the right and still love them for who they are.
Welcome to Resilient Minds Podcast. I am your host and licensed therapist, Cody Martin. Resilient Minds is a podcast about personal growth and mental health, focusing on that and focusing on these individuals with a great resilient journey. I like to get into the mindset of, in this particular moment, great licensed clinicians who have been on a resilient journey all their lives. Today we have licensed therapist, LPC, Ms. Peake. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing good. It's finally good for us to actually do a podcast face-to-face.
Face-to-face?
That's dope.
As opposed to all the virtual stuff.
Right.
All right. Well, how it feel? Feel good?
It feels good.
It feel real?
Yeah, it does.
Well, you look nice today.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Together we're going to explore resilience, family, and community, and helping to overcome challenges with strength. So, Kim, let's just speak on all your accolades and your success. So you've been in the field for over 15 years?
Yes, for over 15 years.
Gracious.
Yep.
Goodness
I know.
gracious. That's good. That's
in the mental health field.
You don't look like you've been in the field.
Well, go ahead and just let me loosen up for the podcast. This is good. No, it doesn't feel like 15.
No, it don't.
I still have a lot to learn and grow. So yeah.
As we all do.
Mm-hmm.
As we all do. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But answer this question: what kept you passionate about mental health all this time?
Probably seeing the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Right, finally seeing it come together in each season, and not just like my client season, but just in my seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is connected. So that just seeing the breakthrough moments.
Just the breakthrough moment. It got to be more than just a breakthrough moment now, because you've been in the field for 15 plus years.
Let me break down what I mean by breakthrough.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So when I say breakthrough, the work that I do is specific. Every therapist that you may have or interview, they have their specific niche,
Yep.
right? But when I think about a breakthrough is when a person realizes who they are.
Okay.
Right? When a person realizes that they are worthy, that they are enough, then they get to see the light that moment.
Yeah.
That moment. And even for myself, like, it's how just being able to see it all come together and realize that it was not just, it wasn't just for it all come together. It had a meaning, it had a point. But I had to go through it just to know what this moment feels like. So
For sure.
that's what I mean by breakthrough moments.
So them breakthroughs, describe that feeling, because I know we all have this feeling, and I ask this question a lot, when we helping other people, do you get that feeling of helping yourself?
Yeah.
So just describe that feeling of the breakthrough moment.
Sometimes when I am working in my purpose and we're talking and a client comes in and we're just talking, and I'm just da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, oh God, thank you. Okay, I get it, right? Or in moments where I'm alone and I'm just like, it gives me a place of peace. I don't have any regret. I don't have any agitation, because in the moment while I'm going through it, why? Oh, we're trying to find why me, all these things, we don't feel good. But in that moment of my breakthrough, I found peace. Yeah. And it just kind of helps me hold my shoulders up, because I'm just like, that was the reason why I had to go through this, so I can get to her. So I get to a point to where I am better. And it grew me. Did it feel good? Absolutely not. But I see it all coming together, and I wasn't irritable, I wasn't selfish. So thank you for that failed relationship. Did it feel good in the moment? Absolutely not. But I had to go through that failed relationship just so that, and learn some things so that I can be better. And guess what? It doesn't look like resentment. Okay. That's what a breakthrough moment looks like for me.
I love it. What was the turning point in your journey that led to founding your practice?
Tired of standing in fear.
Okay.
Tired of self-sabotage. Right?
Yeah.
So it's accountability. So every day I would wake up and I would have anxiety. Like, oh my God, this job, what if it happens if I lose my job and I have a toddler, what, all of these things. And then I got tired, I got so irritable. And this is what, anxiety looks like irritability in Black women, right? I would just wake up irritable. It was only because I knew I had to move. Whenever you are in a transition moment, or whenever you're getting ready to transition, life, whatever you may call it, will set fear right beside it to keep you mobile, to keep you from moving into your purpose. So I had a lot of things like, well, what if I don't make it? What if this? What if that, right? To where it kept me still. But I would go to sleep. I'll go on my job. I'll make everybody happy. I was checking off the boxes, but I wasn't checking off the things that I needed for me, right? And then I was just like, I called a friend and, we ran the numbers. It was good. And then I called my dad, and my dad was like, so he was like, are you calling me for me to talk you out of it? Because I'm not. And I was like, well, no. He was like, you can always get a job, baby girl. You proven that. He was like, but will you know you can on your own? And said it won't happen unless you jump off. And I was like, okay. So I handed in my resignation, and they were like, what about, wait, you work for the state? Oh, that's a good job, right? Complacency, the people complacent, and they didn't mean it. They just wanted to make sure that I was okay, right? It's a good job, it's insurance. How dare I walk off this job with no insurance and I got a child, right? And I just started putting in my resignation. And even then, I was still moving. I started moving a little bit, but I was still operating in fear because I was like, I'm going to work for the person who I did my internship, which is wonderful and phenomenal. And then I'm just going to try this and open this up so I can get 1 or 2 clients just to supplement. And I was like, okay, but I was walking, right? And God said, okay, I'm going to meet you halfway. I'm going to go ahead and do this for you. And before you know it, I had 5 clients. I had 5 clients and then 6 clients, and it grew before my eyes. But the thing is, I had to walk. I had to meet God halfway. And in that, with every client that I got, you know what kept me flowing into clients? My gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not taking it seriously. And one of the prayers that I asked was, God, send me clients in purpose. And He sent me all of my clients, and will continue to do that.
No, I love it. I love it. So you focus on anxiety and depression, right? So how do you empower your clients to overcome these challenges?
Actually, what I focus on, I guess, is identifying the trigger. My purpose work is actually your worth. Because whether or not we talk about anxiety, whether or not we talk about depression, it always goes back to the core belief, what you believe about yourself, right? So I always talk about the hamster wheel of life. We are designed to get up on the hamster wheel. One moment, we put on our Superwoman cape or Superman cape and we go out and face the world. And before we know it, we may get into this thing, anxiety, just running for other people, for society, for accolades. We're just running, to the point where we're tired and we're defenseless. And then the critical thoughts may come in our mind like, and it's like, oh my God, pounding me down. And then all of a sudden, we may say a prayer, we may go to church, go to the altar, meet with a friend, kiki and laugh, and we feel better about ourselves. We may say our affirmations, feel better, we put back on our capes, and we're back to it. And then before you know it, we're on the hamster wheel. But with anxiety, it causes you to kind of be overwhelmed. We're addicted to it. We're addicted to it because what you're realizing is whether or not you jump on this hamster wheel or not, you are creating and building habits that you have done so long. So what you also become is addicted to addicted to being overwhelmed. You don't know how to be still. But when I get my clients to try to get in a moment of reflection and be still, they can't do it. It's irritable because guess what? Your nervous system started to respond and, I gotta be doing something. I gotta be doing something. I gotta show or prove to the world something. I gotta show this. I gotta be this for somebody so they wouldn't think that I'm not enough, or I gotta please this person because, so how it'll look, or I have to be better. You always have to be doing something, right? Where do you learn that from? Take it back. right? Where do you learn that from? And before you know it, the reason why you're overwhelmed, the reason why you're doing it is because what you see yourself or how you value yourself. So you feel like, because if I always do, and you're really not getting a lot done. You're really not. Because I can be, what is it called, a boss out in the streets on my business, but my house is a mess. Okay, so you're really not being that productive. But when we really go back to it is, how do you value yourself? What's your self-worth? What are you putting yourself on? So I have to help my clients retrain themselves and go back to and realizing that they are enough. And you have to train the muscles, like writing with your left hand, right? You have to keep practicing at it. Because even after you accomplish this, right, it's still going to try to show up in different areas of your life. So a lot of times in therapy, they may have conquered it with their self-worth regarding their job, right? I moved. I didn't settle. I applied for the position when I didn't think I was good enough to get it, but now I applied for it, right? Whether you got it or not does not diminish your self-worth. You're still good enough, right? You are still worthy, right? But they may get it in the work, but then all of a sudden, then it start hitting them in their relationships. And then once they get it in a relationship, it's gonna hit them in their, being a mom or a dad. It'll hit you in different areas. But as long as you have the tools, it's like driving on the highway and you may get distracted and you hear this you veer off and you hear this loud noise and wake you up. As long as you have those tools, you may swerve a little bit, but you'll snap back into it and go back to using those tools. It is a lifetime fight. You have to be resilient.
Okay. I do know that your main focus is just working on the core beliefs. So you believe that mental health is about thriving. What does that look like for someone starting their healing journey?
Sometimes I ask my clients, and I'm just like, I bet everybody's trigger. I bet this will make my mom smile. This right here, this is how I brighten up the room if I'm walking in with Cody, or, everybody's triggers, but do you know you? Right. Do you know yourself? What are your triggers? What are your boundaries? All of these things, they don't. So just being okay with starting from going back and starting and saying, I just want to get to know me, right? My job is to help you change the belief about you. So if it's negative, we got to help you change that.
So how do you help the client move from simply surviving to discovering their true selves?
Real conversations and tools. I start off with small mental tools. Like it could be like, what are your mental wins? And everybody says, what are your mental wins? But really, what are your mental wins? Because if I can stop you from looking left all the time, looking left means, I should have did this. Always looking at the negative, always looking at what you should have done, what you could have done, right? How you could have done it better. Because in that same situation, if you look right, you also realize that through the day you did a lot of great things, right? So if I can start you off small by saying, what are your mental wins? If you hit an alarm clock and actually got up versus saying, I'm gonna stay in. And if you would have stayed in a little bit late and you knew you didn't fill your gas tank up the night before and you had to fill it up and you're gonna be late and that's gonna throw you off, right? And throw your whole day off. But you actually said, no, I'm gonna get up. Or I'm going to set aside time for me today and just be. Like little things that you give yourself. If you love music and you haven't played music in a while, play the music. You played the music, you felt good, that was a mental win, right? Overcoming the things that's going to get you distracted. And I need you to start realizing that. And that may sound like a small task, but if you can start training yourself to look at the good and the bad, right? The bad and the good, then you're automatically, unbeknownst to you, changing your posture and how you view yourself. So it's starting off small, and then we go into a tool on how to change your thoughts. So I use a lot of CBT work. So we use a lot of tools to kind of start you off, and then there's also a level of accountability. Because if you've been having on this mask for all of these years, right, it is natural for you to want to slide back, right, into your this behavior, and it is okay. But you have accountability for yourself, and then also have somebody hold you accountable as well.
You mentioned putting your personal dreams on hold as a single mother. I know you touched on this a little bit, but I want to just kind of know, how did fear and survival shape your journey? in that regard?
Whew, I could have stayed compliant. I could have stayed comfortable because I had a good job. I worked for the state. It was secure, right? How dare I step out on my own? But I wasn't getting what I needed, and if I stayed there, I couldn't have been the type of mom that I needed to be for my daughter. So it was kind of a pull for me. But I didn't like who I was becoming. I didn't like always being irritable. I was unhappy, right? And I took the test. So I started studying. And at first I did it with ego, like, I don't know, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna study, and I don't know what this is, and I was overwhelmed, and I really wasn't taking the time to do it because I didn't know how, right? I wanna go back because it took me a long time to actually sit for my license after I graduated. It took me a long time, life happened, right? Life happened and I got caught up and I lost my dream. So when I decided to go back and do the study group, everybody passed. I didn't pass. Ooh, I said that on a podcast, girl. I ain't passed. And I'm still the best. No, I'm joking.
Life ain't perfect, yeah.
And I was like, what? I set my attention. I wanted to. And I was like, okay. But I took it. I took my day now. I took my day.
Yeah.
Right? And I had called my support system.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I turned right. I turned my head right. And I was just like, now I know what to study for. Now I know how I've been through it. Now I know how to go back to it.
Playing.
So I wrote the dates. I put Kim, and I had the date. I even printed out a fake license and put my name on it. I needed to see it, right? And I would pick up my daughter, go to Panera with another study group, or go to another study group and have her play mat, pull all that. Well, she was kindergarten, first grade, whatever. But I would have her stuff and her tablet. She would go sit in a corner, and she would do her thing while I was studying. I took the test, and I remember picking her up, and I told her, I didn't think she, but I was like, Mommy passed. And she said, Mommy, you said you were gonna do it. You said Kamika Peake will pass on such and such day, and she knew it. She read it, she saw it, and I was like, oh my God, right? She saw me working, she understood. And the thing about it is I get a lot of clients coming to me like, I want to work on my daughter and my son, and they come at me with everybody else's stuff with their family, because this is what we do, we hold it on our back. And I just tell them, like, baby girl, all you got to do is worry about you, right? Heal you, and everything else will fall into place because you are the light. Just be the light. Just start fixing you and your behavior. Everything, your conversation will change, and it will automatically, they will have to shift. You don't have to actually manually put them, do things for them. All you got to do is focus on giving yourself what you need.
And they see it all.
And they see it all.
They see it all. You just got to lead by example, man. I love hearing particular breakthroughs of what their child saw that they didn't think that their child actually saw. But that should also tell you, like, these kids are way smarter than what we think. They're way smarter than how we treat them.
Right.
And that if we lead, if we be the example, they're going to see the example. I see it all the time. And it make me come to tears. Every time I see my babies just really, some of the things that they do in responding to each other is examples that me and my wife set for them just by being. And what you're doing, just being resilient, right?
And I don't want the audience to think that being resilient is showing a moment of triumph either. No, my child saw me fail.
Yeah, for sure.
My child saw me fail. I remember, and I'll be honest, because this is my story and how I can relate to people. But also later on, and just talking to her about the difficulties in it, I don't have to hide hard moments from her, because I'm going to show you how to kind of be resilient and get past it.
And just speak to however you feel like it, but what beliefs or barriers kept you stuck? And how did you begin to break through them?
Well, again, like, I think that with therapists, everybody has their niche, right? I think that niche comes out of their purpose, right? The things that they have overcome. Yes, we go to school, right? We have one particular thing, one particular why that we have to find for ourselves, and then we share it with the world, right? So mine, for me, was my self-worth, me not thinking that I'm enough. And with that, it was people-pleasing, it was all of these things. I think I was in college. No one expected me to even be worthy enough to even go to college, right? Or I got there and they was expecting me to come home. So I had to prove, I had to show them, and I was enough and I'm smart enough, right? I have it. And that started my journey of trying to show that I'm enough, because I felt like I wasn't. I came from a situation, and it wasn't something that an intentional situation I came from. This is just things that have been passed down generation. If I don't know how to handle my anxiety, if I don't know how to handle certain things and balance, then this is what I can pass down, right? This is how I learned. I learned how to survive, and in that it changed my belief about myself. But I had to speak against that. I had to really do the work to get there, right? And I'm not even going to tell a story to you. The work is not done. It's never done. It's always in different levels of transition. They will place itself right next to my transition. I'm just recently married, so even transitioning into a relationship, placed it right there. And then we was getting ready to get married, placed it right there. Anything where I'm getting ready to move to be better. But what I also learned now is, ooh, okay, I'm going through. So now, guess who comes to me? People who are going through transition and have to move through fear. So here's the thing, my healing, I have to hold my healing account. I'm accountable for my healing, because there are people behind me that is waiting so that I can go back and give them what I learned. Along with just life conversations and therapy.
I mean, that's the beauty of just being vulnerable and being able to put yourself out there. So how did facing these struggles impact your view on resilience and mental health?
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't. The fight to even sit in this chair, the fight to even tell you and be vulnerable enough to tell you certain parts, to be vulnerable enough to not look perfect. When I'm sitting in therapy, it's not, I'm here and here, girl, we right here. And it's nothing, it's something like, oh, I can't, I'm about to tell you something. I'm like, ain't nothing, you gonna say you're gonna shock me, but okay, girl, all right. Oh, so I'm supposed to be shocked by now? I'm supposed to, no, because my journey, my life was set up not to be surprised, because, I understand it.
Sure.
That allows me to sit in this chair. Everything that I have been through is connected to my purpose. And it allows me to give back and provide a safe space for the women.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more with Kim Peake. So now I just kind of want to speak to just the journey, right? You had to go from A to B. So you mentioned a moment of faith and grit when you decided to go to college, right? How did that decision transform your life?
Because at that moment, I had to really decide who I wanted to be. I think in life, and one of the questions, my dad asked me when I was 14, who are you, right? And I didn't know how much that question was going to be important in my life, and how that was going to shape me. But it was that moment in high school that I had to say, no, that's not who I am, because people already knew who I was. I wasn't going to be much. I was probably going to have to go to a technical college. There's nothing wrong with going to a technical college. It just wasn't who was lined with me, right? I was probably going to have, and it was little things, and it's not intentional. Like my coach was like, yeah, when she comes back with her kids, blah, 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 blah. And my dad corrected it. Before I even had the knowledge, I do want to say my dad corrected it because I didn't have the language. And he was like, nah, she'll probably donate. But it was always, when she comes back, she'll just have, with her kids in a couple of years, she could come watch the games or whatever. Right. Going to college, I had to speak things into existence. I had to change every negative thing that people had to say about it into something positive. But it started my journey of trying to prove my worth, right? Trying to prove that I could do it. And I would get moments of accolades because I did it, right? And before then, I'm like, okay. And that turned into perfection. I gotta always show up like this. And I have to always be this and be prepared. And I was living in a state of anxiety, and that's where the hamster wheel started for me, right? And the hamster wheel actually started while in high school. The relationship with my mom was a hamster wheel, right? Me and my mom mirror some stuff, right? But it wasn't until I got away from college and was able to see the big picture. And a lot of people think that therapy is healing, going back and like, oh, it's my childhood. No, I just saw my mom as a woman. And I had asked her, I was like, Mom, when I was in college and I got away, It's like, Mom, why were you so hard on me? And she was the realest conversation we had. She probably gonna forget about it now, but the realest conversation she had, she said, I felt like I failed as a mom. Oh, wow. She wasn't good enough, wow. Right? I felt like I failed as a mom. You know, one child was here, the other child was there. And she said, I knew if you just hit the ground, you would run, and I just had to push you out. Now, was her way the healthiest way? Absolutely not, because she made sure I was not comfortable in her house. Right. Thank you, Sharon Peake. I was out, okay? To the point to where I wasn't about to I wasn't about to go no technology up the street. I got to go. I got to get away from this lady. I got to leave. God, she get on my nerves. She hates me, all these things. But it was her fear of not being enough, right? Yeah. That pushed into me, but it was unannounced. It gave me the seed of thinking I'm not enough. Yeah. But also, I would triggers. Mama having a bad day. Oh my God, what do I have to do? Let me stay out her way. Let me do this. I knew all her triggers. Yeah. I was people pleasing. Yeah. I was doing all those things. Well, maybe if I'm really good in basketball, she'll do this. Maybe if I'm this and this. And one of the hardest conversations we had was she was like, "You'll never be the apple of my eye." Ooh, that sounds real tough, right? Yeah. You'll never be the apple of my eye. You know, William, my brother, will always be the apple high. And she probably won't remember this, but she said it because she was hurt. Mm-hmm. Was it wrong? Absolutely. But do I understand it now, especially as a therapist? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And you know what that did? It was a moment of correction over my life. I have to figure out what works for me. I got to go. Yeah. I got to figure this out. And in that, and this is where boundaries and things like that come in, because as I began to heal, I began to understand that it's okay to set up boundaries with family members. Yeah. But you can still love them. Yeah. You can still love them for that. You can still look to the right and still love them for who they are. Mm-hmm. So that really triggered my story. And you know what? I'm thankful, because just like my dad gave me the foundation of who are you, and he was my wisdom, my mom gave me the foundation of starting this journey and figuring it out and how to set boundaries and people please. So both of my parents was pivotal into me sitting in this chair right now, and I'm thankful. And that's gratitude. That's looking to the right and finding all of the good out of situations, because there's always going to be the wheat and the tear. Now, I could always focus on, my childhood, you know, I never was good enough to do this, but if I look to the right, how that pushed me, how that made me, it changed my posture on things, but I had to go through healing to get there with that, so yeah.
So what tools and practices helped you maintain hope on that journey?
So there are a couple of things. One is the gratitude, meaning your praise. So thank you for this. Realizing what you do have. Yeah. I think a lot of times society will always put you get you to operate out of lack. Mm. But you're not. Look at what you do have, and then that changes your mood and lifts you up. And so gratitude or your praise. You know, thinking what you do have, realizing that. And then also is sitting and identifying your feelings. Mm-hmm. One of the things is moment of reflections are important. Sitting still is important. It's one of the hardest things we can do, because you can be in a Walmart line or Target. You look like a Target baby. You could be in a Target line. Just saying. You can be in Target, and that's not do Target like that. You can be in a Walmart line, and you could be not at the self-checkout, but you could be, 4 carts behind, right? Yeah. Try not to pick up your phone. Mm-hmm. Try to go without looking at your phone. We always have moments to where we want to escape, want to avoid, and you'll get irritable. You get like a moment like because that nervous system that's always used to operating in the do, it can't sit still because it doesn't want to go there. So if you can, sit still and process your feelings. If there is something like, oh my God, I'm so irritable, or oh my God, I spazzed out on my spouse. He just gets on my nerves. I mean, really process your feelings and actually go online, look it up, look up a list of emotions, because it's more than he get on my nerves, I'm mad, I'm sad. You will be amazed at our big old grown adult selves only using these kindergarten words and feelings. There are a number of feelings.
The feeling wheel. Look up the feeling wheel.
Yes.
Emotional wheel.
Look at you. Come on, therapist.
Hey, man.
Yeah. And pull it out and identify. I feel this way because, when he walked in, he just felt like he was da-da-da-da. And then he also feel this way because, and you just go through it. And when you really got to the bottom of it, when no one else is responsible for your feelings but you get to the bottom of it when you find your voice and your control. Meaning, where do you hold yourself accountable for your feelings at? That's when you get to the root of the issue.
Those same tools that you kind of identify, how did you utilize those to later overcome challenges?
My relationship with my now husband, my aunt called me, she said, baby, your mouth. I'm like, what? Because in my head, I didn't say the thing that I could say, and I thought I said the softer thing that I said, but when I said it, he just took it the wrong way, and I just like, what? And I'm like, what? And I had to go in and really think about some things or really sit with myself on how I was because I was defensive. Certain things I was defensive because my worth, my value, I was certainly trying to prove and I was afraid. So whenever I was in a resting space and I was used to chaos and I couldn't reach out for, help somebody else and do it, but I had to really sit in my stuff. I noticed that whenever I'm at a place of peace with him, I get anxious because I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. I had to work through that, but I had to be still. I had to surrender in that moment and actually just be still, figure it out, identify my feelings, utilize support, go to therapy, talk to my therapy friends, get around people that help me accountable so that I can help myself hold myself accountable. We go off of the ideas of and the expectation of what society gives us, like our relationship in 2 hours in the movie theaters, right? Okay. Or, oh, look, everybody's talking about, oh, when you're pregnant, you get that glow. Or you get all these wonderful things. No one tells you about the nasty, disgusting things that you have to deal with after having a child. And you left to deal with the reality. And you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like that picture. It's the truth.
No,
it's the truth. But it's resiliency. And people think it takes work. It takes work in being in a relationship with yourself. If you can't sit down and work through your feelings and remove the mask and be real with yourself, it is not fair for you to put that on somebody else. You have to do it. That's the first relationship you got to figure out, right? Then you got the relationship with somebody else, and I can't control you. I can't make you think how I think. I'm a great communicator. Why are you not communicating like how I communicate? I need you to do it this way. I need you, and you mean tell me, I'm telling you this, and you still not getting it? Let me go count to 5, because this ain't working, right? But coming back to it and shaping it into shaping it into that. So that's, yeah.
How have you utilized all that to transform your journey as a therapist and as a mental health advocate?
You saw what I just did. You saw how honest I was.
Yeah.
You saw how somebody gonna relate to me. Somebody gonna relate because they seeing us like, wait a minute, and y'all beating yourselves up because your relationship not gonna look like Jane Doe's, it's not gonna look like a movie theater, it's not gonna look all this stuff, right? That is fine. Embrace shape it into making it look like your life. It's the same thing, right? What is your vision? How do we get there, right? And embrace that moment, but just having real conversations.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
So tell me a transformational story from one of your clients that illustrated the power of resilience. Do you have one off the top of the head you can think of one?
I just met with one today, actually, and she called me. She was just like, one of the things we joke around, like, girl, you can't sit in your emotions. If I say anything with the word feelings and emotions, like, and just being on defense all the time, and she'll roll up, right, and pull up and ready to like be right there in your face. And that, what I'm saying, not right in your face, but just with any situation. But can you sit in your feelings? Can you identify what does that feel like? And finally, she began to do that. And then she is a wonderful mom, right? And she's in a great relationship. But sometimes we kind of forget that. And she was hard on herself and trying to figure it out. But today, she was like, I see the light. When she started using the tools and started doing it, she's like, it don't feel good. And you know what? She's still going, her relationship is now still not 100, right? There are still issues going on in her life, but her anxiety is good. She is managing it. It is not out of control, right? She can still have issues. You can still have issues and not be overwhelmed or out of control with it, and not feel like you're in a chaotic moment.
Right.
That for me, and I was like, girl, the light was already there. It was always there. You just looked up.
So what's a go-to strategy for helping clients challenge those negative self-beliefs?
I would take it back to challenging of negative thoughts. Let's go identify it. Let's figure this thing out. And is it real? Is it true? Like, sometimes I really got to sit down with my clients and break down every thought. Or, let's see, is it true? Outside of your feelings, is it true? And they were like, no. Because the fact is, you saying you think that you're not enough. Ain't nobody told you that you was not enough. Nobody. So sometimes we have to go back and face the boogeyman and challenge these thoughts and see, there's a rational mind. You have a calming voice. You may call it your inner spirit, your inner, she already knows, or he already knows. It's just quieting down the noise to hear her or him and trusting her or him, who you are. Trusting that.
Yeah.
And getting them to develop that relationship that with themselves, which is their inner voice, to trust that. You got to give them grace.
No, for sure.
That's one of my mantras.
Yeah. Speaking of your mantra, I'm giving myself grace to learn something new. How has that guided you and your clients?
Well, you know, from the stories that I told you, I probably stumbled in this chair right now, but I'm here by the grace. You know, here's the thing. There's learned behaviors. If I've learned these things for so many times, naturally my body's going to go back and try to go back into the shape of that or what's comfortable. But I have to give myself grace. Am I going to do it perfect? No. Am I going to mess up? Absolutely. It could be another transition I'm going into. Does that feeling of not being enough come in? Absolutely. But I have to give myself grace to learn something new. I have to give myself grace to learn how to be a wife. I have to give myself grace to learn how to be Peyton's mom or AJ's bonus mom, meaning I am not going to do it perfectly. I am going to stumble. But I'm going to give myself time and space, and I'm going to be compassionate with myself to get up, try again.
Yeah. That's amazing, Kim. How can people find you?
You can find me at advocationscounseling.com or at Advocations Counseling on my social media platforms.
Yeah. Man, that was real good insight. I definitely appreciate you, Kim. But definitely make sure that you look out for individual therapy, but for support and guidance from a group standpoint, cohesive standpoint, definitely look up adversityonline.com. Kim, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
I enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully somebody got a lot out of this and your story, your journey of resilience, so that they can apply similar strategies, techniques, and tools to their own life.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. How was your travel?
It was good. It wasn't.
It was a hop,
It was
skip, and a
smooth.
jump.
No, it wasn't a hop, skip, and a jump, but we're here. We made it safely, so it was wonderful.
Feeling
Not Kim
today.
Peake. It's Kim Peake Rhett.
Kim Peake, Rhett.
Rhett. It's with the R's right now.
What?
Let's say it one more time.
Rhett.
Let the world know it. Okay.